your lungs, and their deadliest enemy, tuberculosis. Your lungs, as you know, supply your body with air. They work like a bellows, filling up with fresh air when you inhale, and squeezing out the bad air when you exhale. Tuberculosis is caused by tiny invisible that get into the body through the nose and mouth. They travel down the throat, and when they get inside the lungs, this is what happens. They eat away the lungs. But before we get into that, let's visualize something we have all seen. Imagine for a moment that these lungs are two leaves. Ah, that's it, good. Now, you've all seen a leaf that has been eaten by tiny insects. But have you ever seen one close? See what's happening? The insects are feasting. The leaf actually is being destroyed. Remember these two leaves, for this is exactly what happens to the lungs when tuberculosis attacks. It destroys them. Only a tiny spot at first, but unless this danger spot is discovered and cared for, it will slowly grow, gradually consuming all of the lungs, first one and then the other. And so he dies. Tuberculosis is a communicable disease. That simply means it passes from a sick person to a well person. For instance, Mr. Smith, the shopkeeper, coughs a lot. One of his regular customers is Mrs. Brown. She comes in almost every day. Quite unknown to her, Mr. Smith is sick. He has tuberculosis. His lungs are full of germs. Mrs. Brown's lungs are healthy enough, but she's exposed to Mr. Smith's coughing almost daily over a long period of time. Germs from his sick lungs go into the air. Mrs. Brown breathes some of these germs into her lungs, and when she leaves the shop, an unseen enemy goes with her. When she goes home, she takes into her house a dangerous disease. Like a cloud passing over the sun, the shadow of tuberculosis falls across this home, menacing the whole family. However, the disease does not strike immediately. Several months go by before Mrs. Brown begins to notice its symptoms. During the day, she feels weak and tired. The household chores seem too much for her. She finds she cannot eat. All her appetite is gone, and she loses weight. Her husband notices these things and worries about her. When finally she begins to cough, he begins to suspect tuberculosis, and so immediately